Well, hey crafty friends, it's Hiedi Scott with DiyDreaming, and on this video tutorial we're going to do a couple things that are super fun, and I know you guys like these. So first thing we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to make a braided rope wreath. Then we're going to make 3 different kinds of burlap flowers to decorate it with. So it should be super fun. And what I love about this idea is that you can take it and recreate it in any color you would like, in any style for any season. So for my house, I'm pretty neutral around here, and I'm going to stick to this sort of natural color wave, but you can do it however you would like. So let's start at the very beginning. Let me tell you what kind of supplies we're going to be using. First of all, we're going to be using some of this decorative nautical rope from Dollar Tree. They are $1.25 a piece at my store. So I have 4 packages plus some left over is what you're going to need. You are definitely going to need, let me think, 4.5 packages of rope, I think, to be able to do this project. And I only had 4 brand new. Then we're going to make some flowers out of this. Plus we're going to make some flowers out of some leftover rope. These are a couple of burlap sheets. I have absolutely no idea where I got them, so I'm sorry. They have like some plastic coating or something on the back, but these work great. They're in my craft stash, so I'm using what I have. I'm also going to wrap my wreath form in some of this. You could use any kind of ribbon. It could be this, which is that Dollar Tree ribbon. But this is what I'm going to be using because I have it, and I believe I got this at Hobby Lobby probably when it was 40% off or more. Okay, and then you can use a wreath form. You can use one from any store you like or even from Dollar Tree, and they have lots of different shapes and sizes. Okay, then we may use some buttons. We're going to use some low temperature hot glue, and yeah. Oh, and this 5.5-inch wide burlap ribbon comes from Walmart. Let me just tell you a little bit about it. It's not in the ribbon section. It is in the section where they have the faux flowers and floral foam and all that kind of business. And you guys, they have, let me think, they have this pretty blue, they have a teal, they have orange, they have dark brown, and then they have these colors. They have a green. They have a bunch of different colors. It's 5.5-inch wide ribbon, burlap ribbon, and it's under $5. So I'm going to stick to this one. But like I said, you could do absolutely whatever you want. And let me mention one more thing, and then we'll jump in. If you don't want to make a very big kind of a wreath, you could, instead of using a wreath form, you could use one of these. They're bamboo rings. I found this at Dollar Tree this last week. It's the first time I've ever seen it. It's 2 different sizes. They look sort of like an embroidery hoop, but it's just one piece. Let's see. I mean, it's just one piece of each size. But this could work as the base for a rope wreath, if you would like. Okay, so let's get started. All right. First thing I'm going to do is show you how to put together the braided rope part of it. So I'm just taking the labels and these little cinches off of each package. So what is everyone up to today? Where's everybody watching from? I'd love to know. I saw a South Carolina. I see a N something. Mona, I'm not sure where that is. Albany, Georgia. Where else are you guys coming from? Oh, and thank you for sprinkling, Gerald. Let's see. Jackie, I so appreciate that. Okay, so let's see. I need to make sure I have a sufficiently long piece. All right, so we want 3, 3, and 3 for our braid. So I'm going to take each package of rope and fold it in half because you're going to need a pretty long piece. Okay, whoops. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's more than 4.5. I can't remember. I've already done one. I did it over the weekend. I have been busy crafting ahead for you guys to show you lots of fun projects. I'm going to explain what I'm doing in just a second. I'm just getting this together. Okay, so each length of the rope, I folded in half. See, here's the bottom. All right, and I need 3, 3, and 3. Okay, I just need one more piece. So we'll use this one. Put this in that is taped. Okay, and they're gonna come, if you get them from Dollar Tree, with a taped end. Don't cut that off just yet. All right, so I have 9 pieces, and I'm gonna take a zip tie, excuse me, and I'm gonna zip tie all 9 pieces together just to get us started. This is gonna be hidden, so if you don't have these white ones, it doesn't matter. You can use any color that you have. And I just have put my zip tie on here, and we're gonna use these needle nose things also for pulling the strings out of our burlap. Okay, so I'm just getting that as tight as I possibly can. And then, don't want everything all tangled up. So, let me just get these untangled. Okay, so then you need to be able to tape your end down or clamp it down. And I have some of these different sizes, big clamp things from Dollar Tree. So I'm gonna see if I can clamp this to my desk. I don't think I'm gonna be able to. I don't think it's gonna open wide enough. I'm just gonna use some painter's tape. That works. You could use masking tape, electrical tape, whatever. Okay, and I'm gonna tape it as far away from me as possible. I'll put my camera down and show you what I'm doing. And hopefully I'll be able to get it back up. Oh no! That didn't sound good. Okay, I guess I'm not gonna put my camera down all the way. Anyways, it's taped to my desk. Okay, so then we're just gonna braid. And I am gonna cut these loops so I can put 3, 3, and 3. I hope this is making sense. This is not hard. It's just a math problem to get started. Okay, so I have 3 here, and I have 3 pieces of rope here, outside, and then I have 3 pieces of rope in the center. Can you see that? 3, 3, and 3. And I think pretty nearly everybody in the world knows how to braid, but I'm just going to start braiding, and you'll be able to see it when I get a little bit further down. You want to have your braids, each piece, kind of lay as flat as you can get it. So hang on. Boy, this is when I wish I had a cameraman or camera woman or camera somebody to help me. But I'm the crafter and the photographer and the technician and everything. Okay, I'm starting to get to the point where you guys can hopefully see what I'm doing. So I'm just laying, and I will hold this up and explain what was important in just a second. Let's see. Well, I see Carolyn Walker from Arkansas and Rebecca from Bell Buckle, Tennessee. The reason why I did 3 pieces of rope in each one is because I wanted for it to be thick enough to really look good on the top of the wreath form. So I think you can kind of start to see how I'm braiding it as flat as I possibly can, so it's kind of laying flat. And this is not hard, it's just, it's like, I don't know, it's like wrestling a snake. But it's not hard. And I'm afraid I'm going to pull my taped down piece off. We're getting towards the end. Oops, what's going on here? Lost a piece. Okay, so I am at the end, right here, can you see? And I want to do another zip tie right here. We may end up cutting it a little bit shorter, but we're just going to put this on just to, so it doesn't come unbraided. And these little teeny zip ties, I'll hold them up in just a second. They're DiyDreaming brand, but you can get this idea at Dollar Tree also. This is what I'm using. I believe they came from either Joann's or Michael's. Okay, so cut this long piece off. And get rid of that for now. Okay, so this is what I have. What do you guys think? Okay, so then I didn't think it looked very good to just lay my rope on top of a wreath form, whatever color you were opting to do. So I started this one right here. And I'm just wrapping some of this. Put these on the floor over here. This is that celebrated ribbon from Hobby Lobby that, oh, I lost the top of my apron, that I believe I got it on a huge sale, 40 or 50% off, probably. Okay. And the reason why I even have an apron on is because everything sheds so much. It looks terrible. So I don't have much left to do. I'm just going to cut another piece. And let's glue where I had gone to. Okay, so this is what it looks like so far. And I'm going to start in the back. Where do I want to go? I think I want to go this way. And I'm just winding it around and sort of pulling it at an angle so it will spread out. Just all the way to the back. Easy, easy peasy. And let's cut this shorter. And I'm going to kind of tuck the ends in. Okay, especially when we get to the burlap flowers, you definitely want to have a low temperature hot glue gun, because I had so much of it on my fingers when I was getting this project started, I couldn't believe it. Okay, Hey Karen Jacobs, how are you doing? And hey Judy Hughes and Tammy Carlson. Wow, okay, so one of my followers here is saying that she got this brown Celebrated ribbon from Hobby Lobby at 80% off. That's amazing. Okay, so then the next thing you're gonna do, let me see if I can push my camera back just a smidge. So you can possibly see a little more. Yeah, that's better. Is I'm gonna decide where I want this puppy to lay. Ooh, I'm wishing I would have braided this end of it a little bit tighter. Let's start with this side, because this is better. It's braided tighter. This is just a clamp from Dollar Tree. And we are going to glue it to our ribbon here. And I'm going to cut this shorter and zip tie this other end. But let's start with this. Debbie says she loves it already. Well, let me give you a little preview, because I hope you guys will stay to the end. All right, I have a new flower, a new burlap pulled string flower, and this is it. Isn't it cute? And then this is a kind of another new idea. And then this is our oldie but goodie. And we're gonna make leaves, and it's gonna be so pretty. So I'm glad that you love it already, but it's not even barely begun. I did get out my box, my little thing of vintage buttons too. You can embellish this project though however you like. And because the wreath form itself is pretty lightweight, I feel like you could hang this off of with one of those command hook adhesive things. Okay, and my hot glue gun needs a moment to heat back up again. So let's figure out how much we're going to need here. And I think we're going to go to about right here, but I want to pull some of, well, let's see, let me think about this. Pull it tighter that way. I'm going to do another zip tie on here just to hold it in place, and we'll cover this up. Oh, thank you. This is so different. Well, hey Dixie, how you doing? This is so different. I mean, I hope you guys don't get bored of me, but I do try to seriously mix things up all the time, which means I have to spend a lot of time learning how to do things and figuring out all the details of it, and also time studying. Okay, so let's cut these pieces off here. Okay, so this braid took 4.5 things of the Dollar Tree rope. That is what I figured out. And that's what I was thinking initially. And this is the one that I made to practice and figured this whole craft out. So I don't know, I'll either use it on another wreath or something. We'll figure out something to do with it. You can see that the rope doesn't, it's not wide enough to fully cover the whole wreath form, but because we used this burlap ribbon in the same color to wrap it, you aren't noticing the wreath form as much. And I'm going to come back after the fact and probably do a little bit more glue just to make sure that everything is fully secured. Some of these long pieces here. Thinking out loud, I'm going to pull this one kind of over to the side a little bit so that I can pull this one to the other side of it. Do I have to use a wire wreath? No, you sure don't. You could use, I have made wreath kind of things on embroidery hoops. This is one. It's just a single row of rope glued on top of an embroidery hoop. And then these are leaves that I made using vintage sheet music, and I kind of gave them a little watercolor wash. So you could glue on top of a wreath for, an embroidery hoop, or really whatever you would like. There are glue strings like crazy going on right now. Oh my goodness. Okay, and I will confess that where I started and ended looks terrible, but we're going to cover that up, so no worries. And the back of it looks reasonable. Okay, so let's put this aside and start working on the next part, which is the flowers. Oh my gosh. This is the part I get super excited about. Okay, so let me show you how to make your basic pulled string burlap flower. And if you've watched DiyDreaming, I've been teaching here how to make this flower for about 4 years. So if you've already seen it, I do have 2 new styles that I'm going to show you today, but we're going to start with the basic. Okay, how long is this? I know someone will ask, and it really doesn't matter. A lot of times I end up with it too long and I'll end up cutting it shorter, but this is around 19 inches long. Okay, so I've just cut it at either end, and I'm gonna pull a couple of these side this way, going fibers out, makes it easier to access. These are the strings that we're going to pull. And honestly, the easiest way to pull burlap strings out of 5.5 inch wide burlap is with needle nose. See, we just pulled one out. And generally, I save these. Here's my proof. I have a bag full of, what I do generally is once I've pulled all my strings, I'll kind of tie them in a little, I'll, put them all together, tie them in a little knot in the center, and hang on to them because you can make tassels and all kinds of other things with them. But for today, we're just going to throw these extra strings off to the side. Generally, I'll pull one string at a time. See what's happening here? Donetta says that she saves her strings too. Yeah. This burlap ribbon is super affordable. There's a lot on each roll. They have a lot of really pretty colors. And this is oddly satisfying to pull the strings out. I mean, seriously, especially if you're watching TV or doing something like that. Okay, this is about how far I'm going to go on that side. There's 4 rows. You could theoretically go a little bit smaller. See, 4 rows still on there. All this stuff over here. Okay, let's finish pulling our strings. Who uses pliers, needle nose pliers, jewelry pliers to pull their strings? Is that just me? Am I weird? It just makes it so much easier to get a hold of them and then to pull them all the way out. And I'm just holding the piece with my hand and pulling it out. All from the same end. So I know this is satisfying to do, but it's probably boring to watch. We're almost there. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm leaving 4 on either side. All right, and then for our basic pulled string burlap flower, get rid of these pieces here that are falling off. What you're going to do essentially is fold it in half and glue the 2 edges together. You could do this flower without gluing it, but it's so much harder if you don't glue it. So I think this step makes it a ton easier. And here's where you definitely need to have a low temperature hot glue gun, which I don't work for Surebonder. I know a lot of you guys have said that I should have some contract with them or something, but I don't. I have nothing to do with it. This is just, it's an inexpensive, under $10 low temperature mini glue gun that it's called a Cool Shot. I feel like it's a little bit lower temperature than a regular low temperature hot glue gun. And I'm just using a dryer sheet to clean off the end of it. So let's keep going. And I'll hold this up in just a second to show you what I'm doing. This does not even hurt at all when I get it on my fingers. Can you see that? But I promise you, if it was hot glue, it would. So don't use regular high temperature hot glue for this project. I suppose you could use, a cool glue, like a craft glue or something, but you're not going to get your instant results like you do with a hot glue gun, with the low temperature hot glue gun. Wow, there's 700 people on. You guys stay with me because I have 2 new kinds of flowers to show you. And right now I'm just showing the basic pulled string burlap flowers. Okay, this is what you end up with. All right, and I'm gonna cut all these excess strings. I'm just trimming them down a little bit on the ends. Okay, for your basic, and this part can be seriously as long or as short as you want. The longer it is, the bigger around your flower will be. So then all you're gonna do is start rolling it onto itself. And I'll put some glue along this base, and I'm gonna hold this up. I'm literally just rolling it, can you see that? Onto this part right here where I'm putting a bead of glue. Oh my goodness, my craft space is a disaster. And even though I'm a messy crafter, I kind of don't like it when I'm crafting in the middle of a disaster. So this is a super messy project. You're gonna have burlap fibers everywhere. Yeah. So I'm just continuing to roll it onto itself. And this looks like it's going to be a pretty fat flower. So this is your basic pulled string. Let's mark glue here. This is your basic pulled string, 5.5 inch wide burlap flower. Doesn't look very pretty right now. Notice that it has an elevated profile, this part right here. So then you just kind of try to find the center, and you're gonna start, where was the first piece? You're just gonna start sort of fluffing, pulling your little pieces apart and pushing it flat. And I think this style really looks the best. Can you see how that's changed? It looks the best, in my opinion, when you have something right here. So let's grab a button. And I just have a zillion vintage, let's use that one, vintage mother of pearl buttons. And I'm gonna just put a blob of glue in the center and put my button on it and push it down. This helps your flower stay pretty flat. What do you guys think? Tell me here in the comments. You could totally do this for your son's front door. And maybe don't cover it with a ton of flowers. I don't know. You could just do the braided part if you want. Okay, so what I want you to notice is that this still is elevated. It's not flat. And this is probably the, I don't know, the 200th burlap flower I've made here at DiyDreaming. Okay, so that is your basic one. Now let me show you the next style, and we're gonna make it a little bit smaller. Should have maybe pulled some of the strings in advance to have this all going for you guys, but of course I did not. I did the other stuff. Okay, so I've just pulled a few of these sideways pieces out so I can start grabbing my strings. Sometimes you can pull 2 at a time, not very often though. We're going to do this one next. Really, you can pull them out however wide you want. I'm thinking I want it a little bit wider. The fewer number of strings you have left on the outside edges, the bigger your little round loopy pieces of burlap flower are. You love the burlap flowers. Oh, Sharon, I'm so glad. Brenda Atkins says she loves my creations and my patience. Thank you. I do love to craft. And although I'm messy, I do try to be sort of organized, and I like to get a lot of the basic stuff done before I start, because I feel like I don't want you guys to have to sit and watch me pull strings, which is what you're doing right now. Okay, so this flower also starts with us gluing. I'm looking at it right now. I think I need one more piece out of this side. Also starts with us gluing the two pieces together. So let's do that. This is where you're going to get it all over your fingers. You could use one of these little guys. These are finger protectors from Dollar Tree. I just find that it makes it hard for me to do what I need to be doing, so I generally don't. I just use a low temperature hot glue and okay, so here's our strip. Let's clean it up a little bit on the end. Let's clean up this end just a little bit too. Okay, so it starts with this. Same as the one that I just showed you that has the elevated profile. Okay, then we're going to work on a piece of burlap. You could use burlap fabric. I suppose you could use even a piece of cardboard for the base, natural colored cardboard. So I'm going to cut a circle about the size that I want this flower to be. And it doesn't have to be a perfect circle because we can trim it up at the end. We will trim it up at the end, I'm sure. Okay, and then we're going to take a little piece of this rope that we have left over from Dollar Tree. And I'm going to start with this end. I'm going to put a whole bunch of glue in the center. And I'm going to stick my end of it into it. That's what that looks like. Don't worry if you have a lot of glue. It's all going to be covered up. Okay. Then we're just going to coil this around it. And we did some flowers that way. I'm looking to see if I have them up here. Oh, by the way, in case you're wondering what this is a project that we started last year, and I don't remember why, but I didn't finish it. And it's such a beautiful banner. This is quilt batting, you guys. So sometime this week, we're going to finish that. I'm going to remind you how to do it in case you missed that. And we'll do that as our project. Okay, now I'm just starting to coil the rope around this center area. You want to be generous with your glue and just push your rope into it. And you can make this part, oh, isn't this funny? This one looks a little different because this piece of rope must not be the Dollar Tree rope, because it's a little bit fatter. I'm noticing that. It's the same idea though. So you're going to keep going however big or small you want this center piece to be. This is really not looking like a center, it's looking like an egg shape. Not like, it's not looking like a circle, that's what I meant to say. It's just glued on here. So now I'm going to just chop it off. And we'll tack this bit down really good. Kind of pushing it underneath itself as much as possible. Okay, Tammy Carlson says Dollar Tree has different sizes of that rope. Well, that would make sense. Hey, do you guys remember, this is a coiled flower. Do you remember when we did this project? These are just plain coiled flowers, and this was a stacked flower that we did right there. And this was a tarnished silver platter that I painted, and then I stenciled it with it says, I still remember the days I prayed for the things I have now. Anyways, this stuff right here is clothesline rope from Walmart. So that works as well. And it's inexpensive. Okay, this is what I have right here. And now I'm going to trim it. Just right around where my rope is. And then we're going to take our this that we made, and we're going to start gluing it right around the edge. And you're going to have to twist it and sort of bend it and press it in as you're going along. So you want to be, for sure, really generous with how much glue you're using right now. And it does not matter what it looks like on the back. Can you see what we're doing? Wow, I got out a bunch of glue sticks. By the way, I do use the Sure Bonder brand for my low temperature hot glue gun. You can pick those up wherever you, Walmart, Hobby Lobby, wherever you buy your gun, which they're usually under $10, and you get some glue sticks with it. Okay, so we've gone once around, and we could stop right here, or we could keep going, and I'm just going to keep going until I'm to the end of my, just to make that little band of loops around it look thicker and all that good stuff. So just continuing to add glue here. Push my stuff into it. What is this? I've gone around twice. I think I have. Okay, I'm going to cut this off. And we might be able to use this piece for something in the future, so I wouldn't throw it away. I would hang on to it. Okay. And this is our new flower. What do you guys think? Isn't that cute? Do you like it? Oh, Sandy, she says to somebody who says she's new, Cindy Edwards. Or maybe Cindy's saying it to Sandy, I can't tell. Welcome, and that you'll like the flowers, the different kinds of craft projects we do here. I hope you will. Okay, so we just made that, and this is the one that I made first to get it all squared, all worked out. And I think, now that I'm looking at this, that I probably went a little more than one time around it because it looks a little bit fuller. Do you see that? But either way is completely fine. Okay, and here was my first not flat flower that I did. So let me just stick a button on that real quick. Let's do this one. I did this one before I came live. It's the same look as this one. I must have left another row because if you look at it, the profile is a little bit higher than this one. Okay, and then the last one I want to do is I want to show you what a flat looking burlap flower can look like. And then we're going to add a little rosebud in the center, and it's this. And when you're working with this burlap ribbon, you're going to notice you're going to get to points where the weave is really tight. And I think in most instances, that's where they ran out of thread and they just started over again. So I'm just going to cut that off. All right. And all right, let's quickly pull our strings. Where are my pliers? Here they are. They're hiding. So what I'm going to show you next is how to make a flat pulled string burlap flower. And it's funny, the things that you remember. I think this was 3 years ago, 2 years ago. I can't remember for sure. I was talking to my friend Diane, that some of you guys might know, Diane Brown. And we were talking about how could we make these pulled string loopy flowers flat so that they don't have this profile. And she figured it out, and she's the one who showed me how to do it. So I always want to give credit to whoever, you know, if I know. A lot of times things have been passed around so much that you don't know who was the original whatever. And I always put my own spin on things. But anyways, so Diane is the one who figured out how to make these flat pulled string flowers. And I'll show you that in just a second. We're almost there. So I'm going to go way out to the edge on both sides. Okay, I have two. Well, yeah, two-ish on that side. And I'm going to pull this out so that I have two on this side. Okay, this is when you have to just be gentle with your burlap because it's kind of fragile at this point. So let's glue our two sides together. So all of these flowers start with you making this, you know, this idea. almost here. If you like glue strings, you would be in heaven here in my craft room because they're everywhere and I'm covered in little bits of glue. Well, welcome Nikki Michelle Short. Glad to have you. Okay, so we have this. Now to make a, well, and let's do the center bit. Let's make this center bit first too. So I'm just going to take a little bit of and I'm going to glue the two sides together, but we're not pulling out any strings. And I know there's a lot of different ways to make rosettes. This is just how I'm doing it for this project. I've also made a ton of little rosettes. I call them roll rosettes. Okay, so look at all this hot glue everywhere. Get off my fingers. Okay, so then I'm just going to start rolling. I'm trying to remember, what did I do? I think I glued part of it, folded it over like a little corner, and then I started rolling it. And it doesn't need to be very big. What the heck, let's use the whole thing. Okay, this does not look like a rosette yet. Okay, now I'm going to start kind of pulling it apart and folding the edge over and down. And that is how you get your little rosebud. Okay, and it looks messy, but it won't look as bad once I get it on this. Okay, so let's get another piece of this. And we'll do a circle. I wish I could remember where this came from. If you know, I have two of these sheets and they have like this plastic on the back of it. If you've seen it out there in the crafting world, let me know. Because honestly, I have such a big stash of craft supplies that sometimes I can't remember a lot of the times where I got things. Okay, so here's our little loop. And it's not very long, so I'm going to start it in a little bit. I'm just gluing it, and we're going to do a circle. We're going to pull it around and kind of push it into the glue. And then we'll trim the excess off of this when we're done. Brenda Sanchez Soto says all of her favorite flowers are done by you. She loves them all. Thank you. You know what? I love flowers. That's, I could do flowers all day long every day. But I know that gets boring to some people, so I really do try to mix it up. But here on DIY Dreaming, what you can pretty much count on for the kind of crafts we'll be doing are we're going to be doing things that involve faith. That's my number one thing. That's really what all of this crafting is about for me personally. And then it's going to be family focused, and then it's going to be flowers. I don't do really ever any crude, that sounds prudish and I don't mean for it to, but that's just not my style. So you can feel safe having your children, grandchildren, nieces and nephews watching with you if you want. I'm not going to ever say or do anything that I think you would think was inappropriate. It's always going to be faith, family, or flowers. And I do like to do a lot of projects that you can do with the little people in your life. Okay, see how this is flat and we're just twirling it around and gluing it on this piece? This is how you get a flat pulled string burlap flower. Oh my word, I am covered in glue strings. It's a safe place. However, having said it's a safe place, I do see a few trolls on here. So if you see them too, and they're trying to make friends with you, I don't know why they want to pick on me. I'm just this middle-aged crafting lady, a Christian trying to do crafts. But anyways, if you see trolls or they're trying to make friends with you, saying you have the most beautiful smile, your posts are so wonderful, whatever, report them, but don't respond to them. And I spend at least 30 minutes to an hour every day looking for those and banning them and deleting what they've put on here. So anyways, I don't know how I got on that. I just did happen to see as I was scrolling by. Yeah, and there's one right now who's included some link, which I'll get rid of that as soon as I'm off. Like, why do you want to mess with us? We're just trying to do our crafting thing. Okay, so there's the whole thing. Now let's cut this excess off the back so it doesn't show. And be careful that you don't cut your loops. Not a very good circle for sure, but so to do a completely flat flower, you would just continue twirling it all the way to the center. But what we're going to do is we're going to add this little rosette, trim off this yuck here, to the center of ours. We're just going to glue that right there. And it probably would be better if it was a little bit smaller, but I don't have one that's finished and ready to go. So we're going to use this one. So I'm just going to pop this down in the center and kind of fold those layers over. Ignore the glue strings, please. And there we go. So the 3 flowers, just to review, and then we'll start on our wreath, are, the first one is just your basic rolled pulled string flower. Pulled string loopy flower. And you can see it has a little bit of a profile. And I usually put a button or something like that in the center. So I have 2 of those. The next one are the ones, the new ones that I just made. Where's the other one? Oh, here it is. Using some rope in the center. Okay, and did you know that if you have a ton of glue strings on your projects, you can use either a heat gun or a blow dryer on hot. Just go around it and it sort of melts them and they disappear. That's what I'll be doing later today. But these are the other two new ones. That I just showed you how to do. Okay? And then these are the last two. And they're flat pulled string flowers with like a little rosette that we made in the center. What do you guys think? Tell me which one you vote for as your favorite. And let me get rid of some of this mess here. And then we'll start on the next part. Yeah, so tell me in the comments what you think. I would love to know. Okay. All right, so here's our wreath. If you are just hopping on or you missed this part, when I'm not live anymore, go back and watch it from the beginning. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm wobbling my camera. I'm just trying to get to the end of the comments so I can see. So if you missed this part, go back and watch this video from the beginning because I tell you where I got everything, how much it cost, and how I did this part. Okay, so now we need to decide how do we want our flowers to be on here. And I'm going to put some big ones to cover the spots that I have the spots that I have the cinch ties on here. And this is one of those things where it's totally personal preference how many flowers you put on. I'm probably just going to do 3 for right now. I think this project would look best with an odd number. So I would do either 3, 5, 9, or just 1 even if you wanted. I'm wishing this was a little bit smaller. One of these is smaller. Okay, that's what I think we'll do right there. So let's glue this guy on next. And I will probably fiddle around with it after like I always do. I'm live right now. My husband, he's probably asking me if I wanted something. So it could go either way. On the side, I would probably hang it like this. And you could do some other accents if you wanted, or use smaller flowers. But what do you guys think? Do you like it? I think it turned out super pretty. And I have all 3 kinds of the flowers on here. This one is the new one, well, one of the 2 new ones that has the rope center, and then it's a flat flower. This one is just your regular rolled pulled string burlap flower, and then this one is a flat one that has a rosette in the center. So. Hope you guys liked it. If you did, I would love it if you would think about sprinkling this video to your social media, or telling your friends about it. Do a this, that's a thumb up, or this, that's a heart, sort of. Or say something to me in the comments. It doesn't even necessarily have to be a meaningful comment. It could be supercalifragilisticexpialidocious or a couple of smiley faces. And make sure that you've liked and followed DIY Dreaming, and those things make it more likely that you'll see what else I have coming up this week. And I do have a lot of other fun projects coming up that I'm excited to show you. So, thank you so much for joining me. If, like I said, if you jumped on towards the end, you may want to come back and start at the beginning to find out how we did this and to find out how we covered our wreath form with this and how we attached it and everything. And then if you missed one of these flowers, you may want to come back and watch that too. Alrighty, if you do something like this, I would love to see it. And I would love for you to share it over at that group that I set up a couple of years ago for us to share pictures of our craft projects. It's Dreamy DIY. So just type that into your search bar on Facebook, Dreamy, there's a space, DIY. Answer the questions and share pictures of what you're working on so that we can all get even more ideas. Carol says she loves the wreath, but she doesn't know how to braid. Well, Carol, watch from the beginning because I show you, if you just watch, how you have three groups of 3 rope and how you do that. It's not a fancy braid, it's just your basic thing. Okay, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you later. I'll get pictures of this that I'll put here in the comments. And the other flowers too, I'll put those in there. And I will also put those over it here just on the page, DIY Dreaming. If you have any questions at all, don't hesitate to ask. But I did answer everything, you know, about the basics of it at the very start of the video. So if you missed that, just go back and you can watch the whole thing. Am I gonna add green to the wreath? No, I don't think I am. Oh, I forgot the leaves. Oh goodness. Well, darn. But thank you to the person who reminded me. I just cut some leaves that I was going to add, and I do think they add so much. So let me show you that real quick, and then we really will be finished. To make a leaf, you guys all know how to make a leaf. It can be whatever size you want. These are pretty big leaves because of the size of the flowers. So I would just glue these. And I would probably add one more. Oh my goodness, that adds so much. It really does. So I'll glue those down. I'll add a couple of smaller ones. Get rid of the glue strings, get some pictures. Thank you to the person who reminded me that. And I will see you guys later. Thanks for watching.